We lived in Queens. We had a piano. One of my friends on the block had a TV, but we didn't have one, so we did a lot of singing. My dad never had a radio in his car, so if we went on a car trip, we had to sing. My mother has a beautiful voice. She was a violinist, like my wife Connie, but I never heard her play. She had given it up and sold it, I guess, before I came along. But she's a beautiful singer, had perfect pitch, and would always stand behind my father and say, "Fred, darling," that's my dad's name, "that's a B flat, not a B." You know, he'd be going through all this complicated piano stuff, and she'd catch that he had. So we sang a lot, and I was probably 10. We had moved out of Queens. I was in Queens. I was in the same class. I used to go home after school with Artie Garfunkel, and he would sing Nat Cole songs. We were in the same fourth grade class. Maybe I only went to his house once, but I remember we're walking down the parkway, and he's singing, "They tried to tell us we're too young." And I thought, wow, he's got a beautiful voice. And Paul Simon was either in another class or the same class, but I never really got to know Paul. And his mother was actually a teacher in that school. So, I mean, it looks like the fickle finger of fate to me, the PS whatever it was, 72 or something there. And then at 15, I went off to Phillips Andover, and they offered classical guitar as an elective. I thought, wow, this is cool, I'll do this. And I learned to play a little bit. You know, it was just a semester. And that immediately just translated to the Everly Brothers. And my roommate, see, here's the finger of fate again. I mean, it's just, you can hear the flapping of angels' wings. My roommate was also taking guitar, and we started harmonizing Everly Brothers songs. And this fella never went on in music, but I mean, that was it for me. I was stung, and there I was. I could play a few chords on the guitar. I had a rented Stella that must have had an action like this. But, you know, I was young, and I didn't know any better. Right. And eventually I talked my father into buying me like a harmony, made a copy of Chuck Berry. Always had that kind of, it's probably a Gibson or an Epiphone, hollow body, F-hole.
Right, 335.
Yeah, but I remember on one of his records he had a blonde one, you know, a natural finish. So I got a harmony copy of that, which had action like that. It was wonderful. And that was it. I was off from there. I never stopped playing. And eventually they kicked me out of Andover for playing the guitar during study hours. It was a wonderful way to short-circuit my Ivy League dreams. A lot of people from Phillips Andover go on. My dad went to Harvard, so they were all thinking. And my uncle taught at Yale and was an administrator there his whole life, so they figured I was heading that way, and the guitar saved me. And I ended up in Columbus, Ohio, living behind a record store. And this fella liked me in the record store, and he let me take the records and tape them. My father, I don't know how I was trying to think of this the other day, how I talked him into buying me a tape recorder. But I did. So I would take them. There was no shrink wrap, and I'd take them, and this is where I found some of the roots music. This is where I found T-Bone Walker. Like, man, what's this guy doing with the guitar behind his head? And Ray Charles and B.B. King and all of these places. I just got a chill. I started to discover the roots of rock and roll and doo-wop and, you know, the roots of the blues, which, you know, were not on the radio in New York City, at least that I could find. So it was a great experience for me, and I realized I couldn't stay in school too much longer, so I transferred to NYU. I don't know how. I talked my father into that in the Village, and went after it, and my grades kept going down, and my guitar playing and singing kept going up, and eventually I quit school and went to work on playing in basket houses in the village.